welcome to Alpha Book Club. This is the Danny, come play with us, Danny. Come play with us. Forever. Hi, hey, kidding. Someone watch the movie. This is
Danny's not here right now. It's just Tony. Danny's not here.
He's not here, Mrs.
He's not here. He's not here, Mrs. Torrance.
I'm so mad at you. You saw how excited I was to watch you watch that movie.
Oh, it wasn't great, guys. There's a lot of
us.
pizza involved with that one. This is the best online book club that you can get involved in. This month we are reading Shining. Sup, I'm your host, Maude Garrett. Joining me, we got co-host Rachel Heine.
We're reading The Shining, not Shining. Shining is like a feel-good family film. It's not edited.
Shining.
Yeah, it's Shining.
There's a musical number at the end.
We're reading The Shining.
Yeah.
The book we're covering today is The Shining. And guess what? Hector's back from his vacation and he's in a great mood.
Hector!
What's up?
So Hector got a little
Dobry
sick.
den. Dobry den.
Nice.
Dobry den.
Dobry den.
What was your favorite place?
Na zdraví. Na zdraví.
Did you
Prague,
drink the
Czech
vodka?
Republic.
Did you like? You went to Prague. You went to Germany. What was your favorite place? What'd you do?
Berlin was cool. Berlin was sad.
Yeah.
Really sad because they have a lot of museums set up to remember what happened in World War II and the Cold War, and just reading the history of what happened in World War II and the Nazis' rise to power.
Did you go to the typography one?
No, I don't
That's
think
the
so.
one that's
I
like.
went to. It was here's where the Berlin Wall was, and also right next to it, here is where the Nazis' main stronghold and base of operations, which was all just clinical, boring, procedural government stuff was. And reading the rise to power of the Nazis, I'm like, oh, cool. That's literally happening in the United States right now.
Yeah.
Cool. They made the press the enemy. Cool. Yep.
Well, the one that I went to when I was there it was the month before the election, and it's like the photographs and newspapers from way before, leading all the way up through it,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
I
think
spent
I may
like
have
5 hours in there because I felt like I
needed
had
to arm yourself for what was going to happen.
Like give it the weight, and
Yes,
but it was. I realized then that that's what was happening, and it's been really great ever since. Yay!
Yep. Yay! Cheers!
Goodbye, planet.
Not my country.
That's true.
Yeah, but the planet's going too,
Yeah.
so we're all fucked. But in the meantime, we get to read books and drink wine.
That's a good perspective. I love that
Lots of wine.
reading. Dojo Kiwi asks if Hector is cosplaying as Jack Torrance.
Maybe you figured it out. Yes, I am. Maybe if we could get fucking going with the show, that would be great. That's so good.
Sorry.
Red rum.
Perfect.
Danny isn't here, Mrs.
Perfect.
Torrance. I will definitely be Danny. That's really funny. Do I get to ride a little tricycle?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that shot.
Dude,
But
that's
I
great.
have
Oh
a
my
feeling
God.
we're going to talk about the movie more.
Next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
I mean, after when we were supposed to watch it, because I haven't rewatched it yet. Maude.
Maude.
Yeah.
Burned.
You knew what you were doing. Yeah. Huh? Did you? Did you know what you were doing? Did you know that I was going to be upset?
Was a date, Rachel.
Oh, okay. That's fine then. There you
So,
go.
but wait, was this
See? There you
date
go.
hey, do you want to watch a movie? Yeah, I got to do this work thing. You want to watch this work thing
Ooh,
with me?
nice. No, we're good. We're good. Yeah, we're friends. Not that we weren't, but.
she was possessed for a while there and with anger. So let's get into it. Otherwise, Jack's gonna flip.
That was so insane.
I know. It's fun.
Do you have that? Do you have that in your back pocket? Like, do you do that a lot?
Toxic masculinity? Yeah, unfortunately I do. Yes, I do. Yeah.
I meant. Well, we're gonna
Yes.
get into it. No, I'm
Yes.
sure, totally. I say sorry to people who do bad things to me, so I understand it's the flip. But no, I meant your Jack Nicholson impression.
Yes, Jack Nicholson is. I watched the movie for the first time at the beginning of the month before diving into the book.
For the first time?
For the first time, I've never seen it, and I watched it earlier this month.
What?
And it was, and I'll say this, more than any
That's
other movie
crazy.
I've ever seen in my entire life, I wish I had seen it when I was a kid, because the film was effectively ruined for me by pop culture.
Yeah.
Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No TV and no beer make Homer something. Go
That's
crazy.
That was the only
Don't
thing
mind
she
if I
knew
do. Yeah.
from the beginning.
No, that's not true. We are reading The Shinning.
Shinning.
Get sued,
Oh, yeah.
boy?
Do you wanna
Oh,
get
I
sued?
meant the
Quiet, boy.
Simpsons part of it.
But like so much of that film has and so much of the images from that movie have permeated pop culture that I knew everything. There was nothing that scared me or shocked me because I was like, yep, okay, I've seen that.
Lady in
I've
the
seen that.
Bathtub.
I've seen that in
One.
a GIF. I saw that in Ready Player One.
Yeah.
I saw this. I saw that. I saw this.
Oh my gosh, right at the end, I
Nothing.
didn't know that was a GIF. I thought that was
Yeah.
like one of the White Walkers or something. I didn't understand that it was Jack.
It's Jack
Oh,
Frozen.
the very end. Oh my god.
So,
Yeah.
so
funny.
like, so yeah. To answer your question, I have since I was a kid have done it. I think everybody, a lot of dudes do Jack Nicholson impressions because he's such an iconic character. He's the Joker. He's this.
Yeah.
He's that.
Yeah.
He's Robin Williams as the genie. It's like,
Yeah.
come here, man. If you want to do the,
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah,
it's
that's true.
that whole character. So to see this,
Do
they
you
came out
got
in
it? Yeah.
1980. You can totally get. Oh, this is why he was cast as the Joker, and this is why.
he's scary.
He's terrifying.
Face
Yeah.
though, those eyebrows like that close and that kind of like severe
That
on his
smile.
face and that really wide smile.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh,
But
yeah, I know at the bar.
there
and that
was-
monologue, that
yes.
great monologue that he has, but he's just like, now listen here. Is it Louis? Louis at the bar?
Lloyd.
Lloyd.
I've always liked you, Lloyd. Always liked you. Seems I've misplaced my wallet. How's my credit in this joint? Your credit's fine, sir. Your credit's good here.
It reminds me of
Great,
too of
Lloyd,
doesn't
great.
Christian Slater do a Jack Nicholson?
I feel like Christian Slater is a Jack Nicholson.
He
Yeah.
because that felt a little Heathersy too. It was like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Very
So
good
yeah, Toxic
impersonations.
Masculinity, the book.
Yes.
It's a good / sad time to be reading this book.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to be reading this
Yeah.
book. I think that
It's just hard to read.
I'm going to catch you up
For
because
me.
I forgot what section we were supposed to have started
let's,
reading.
Let's go through a previously
Yeah, I wanna hear-
on
But-
our
but-
book
I want to hear your thoughts of the whole thing.
Just
so
my
far.
thoughts on the whole thing real quick so far. I love it. I think it's so well written, and I think that Stephen King is doing a really good job of setting up the Jack character as somebody who, in my read of it, now I don't want to tell Stephen King he's wrong, but he said that he feels that the hotel is what's affecting Jack. The Overlook Hotel is the outward force that is affecting this man.
he's always had it.
But in the reading of this book and what Jack has gone through in the flashbacks of what he did to the student, what he did to his son, he broke his son's arm. He's planting the seeds of this guy is deeply troubled from the beginning. And I get the same thing in the movie. I get the same thing in the book. So I think
He's
that
the perfect host or
yes, for this
the house.
energy for the house. But he was already fucked up to begin with.
Oh, totally.
But there's still
He broke his son's
yes,
arm.
there's still moments because of Stephen King's writing where I'm like, oh my God, he does love his son. There's these little fleeting moments where
yeah.
I'm like, he would do anything for his son. And then it goes right to, come here, you little shit. And you know you're
Take your
building up to like, man, he's going to try to kill his family.
Yeah.
So I have been loving this. I love it more than The Dark Tower, which is
Oh,
the
yeah.
only other Stephen King book we've read on this show so far. The only Stephen King book I've read,
Same.
period. Same. So I
This
think
writing
it's
is
really
so
great. It's so good.
Perfect.
Yes.
In the sense where it's like everything is on, like has a purpose. Everything has
Yeah.
a point.
Everything makes sense.
But it's still really beautiful and languid, and like
Mm-hmm.
the stream of consciousness stuff gets kind of intimate and immediate, so you feel like you're in there. But I think what's really telling, we were talking about with Amy when she was here about how.
Man, she got so spooked at that haunted house.
Oh my God, it's so fun.
Did
If
we
you
all see
haven't
it? You
watched
watched
it
it?
right
Okay, great.
now, oh my God.
It's so
It's
good.
on YouTube and the Nerdist Facebook. Amy went into the horror nights and I mean, it's wonderful to watch, but I feel really bad for her. But yeah, we were talking about how he really thinks that he is in the right.
Yeah.
He doesn't think he's not taking any responsibility for it. And I think that coupled with the idea, I think a lot of times in any kind of abusive situation, you kind of, in order to like get through it, or when you're an outsider perceiving it, you think, well, like, no, they're evil and they but like you can, those people do think that they love the people that they're hurting.
Yes.
Yep.
And hurt people hurt other people often.
And-
Doesn't always
and-
have to happen.
Great comment from Thrash Odin. I like this story because for me, it's about the haunting nature of abuse and abusive behavior. I think that reading this book now, that is very apparent. I think if you read this book 20 years ago, I don't know if we would talk as much about abuse. We would be like, oh, spooky, scary, supernatural ghost stuff is fun. But the fact that we're picking up on
And Wendy should have known her place.
Yeah.
Oh God.
on those
and
cycles
also the
of abuse.
toxic masculinity is very, very present right now, and his dad doing it to him and learning all of these things, and then being challenged by the younger version, and the family life disrupting what you had. Like there's all these layers to it.
But Wendy, and to an extent Danny, but Wendy as the decision maker opposite Jack, she still rationalizes after some horrific thing happens in the haunted house, which is super haunted, after something
haunted
awful
hotel.
and
It's
evil
huge.
happens in this haunted hotel. They will still get together, talk it out, discuss it, and then go, well, we gotta stay. We don't have any other, and Stephen King's writing is so good that you're like, reading it and you're like,
I guess.
yeah, they gotta stay. That's the only chance. That's the only option they got. And it's like, and that also is a metaphor for abusive relationships, where something like that happens, and you go, "Well, I can't just leave. He has all my CDs." That's a Dane Cook quote. That's a Dane Cook bit where this is a funny line. It's funny and true. Dane Cook had a line in his stand-up where he was like, there are people that come up with the dumbest excuses for not leaving a bad relationship. One of them, his joke was like, well, I can't just leave him, Karen. He has all my CDs. Is like a dumb reason to not get out of like a toxic relationship, and yet.
But it's also like that's all part of it. That's
finding an excuse.
Like
yes,
excuse,
absolutely.
And it's being gaslit or brainwashed to the point where you really think that that's true.
Well,
and
a controlling person takes away all control from the other person. So without any control, any decision making, any existence of being they don't have any power.
well, and she's already primed to be that. So it's that is often,
Because of her
unfortunately,
background.
yes, they are magnets to each other, which is horrible because and we've talked about this in many different books, the patterns that we learn as children, we can repeat as adults if we don't try to break them. And these are two very classic examples of that, of Wendy being this nervous person who clearly had either emotional or physical abuse or both, and is just primed for someone else to be right, for her to say I'm sorry, for her to say no, I'm wrong, I will stay with you, I'll do this, and he's primed to do that, and that's toxic masculinity and like the patriarchy at work at both sides.
Yeah, I noticed that in the movie and even reading it, where he does just scream at her, and her thing is like, I've upset him, I need to leave. And I was like going in my head, how dare you talk to her like that? And I know my response would be like, try again.
But it's a survival technique.
Well, and
it's a survival. It's her diffusing the situation.
Yeah.
And in that regard, I can relate to Wendy so much in that way. I can relate to her because a lot of the times my role in my family, not that my family was super loud or violent or anything like that, but my family is, I was the oldest child. I have one younger sister, and then I have two parents. And if there was ever any tension in the family, I would be the diffuser as kind of the middle child almost. Like that's kind of my role. So I can super relate to Wendy and what she's going through. There's just so much to like talk about with the characters in this book on top of the spooky fun stuff. But like our friend Kate said, she posted on Facebook, she's like, I'm reading this for the first time. I think she said she's reading it for the first time, right?
Yeah.
And that none of the supernatural stuff is scary, but all the toxic masculinity is really frightening. And I was like, yep.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's really hard to read because it's written so well. Like night and day for me with The Dark Tower. Like The Dark Tower was like pulling teeth to get through.
It's a tough read.
And I didn't enjoy it.
Maybe we should just watch that movie, The Dark Tower.
I did.
You did? How was it? Bad?
Not good. No.
I'm still going to watch it.
I wouldn't mind exploring this a little bit further, see if you guys agree or disagree with it. Game Wizard 001. Wendy is just as bad of a parent as Jack. While she isn't abusive to their child, she will cave in terms of how to take care of Danny. If she wanted to make sure he was safe, she'd learn how to run that snowmobile and get to town real quick.
I'm going to go hard disagree on that.
I'm going to go... I
think Wendy's a way better parent than Jack. I think Jack sometimes as a parent is still a great parent sometimes. Like I said earlier, there's moments where you're reading this and we're in Jack's head and like he would do anything for his son. And he sees his son, he goes, I gotta get us the fuck out of here. This is he knows that this hotel is evil. He knows that this is a bad place. He's like, I gotta get out of here.
He knows that he is bad.
Yes.
I mean, he's doing the bad thing,
and then he goes and he chucks the thing from the snowmobile, and then he's like content with that. Like it's a real struggle, and I think Wendy is doing at this point everything she can possibly do. If you're reading this and you're like, well, she could just learn how to operate a snowmobile and get the heck out of there. It's like I don't really think Wendy can. I don't think that that's what this story is supposed to be. You're not supposed to get mad at her for not getting him out of there. She is confronting Jack. She has had multiple moments where she's like, we need to get him out of here. He's hurt. And he agrees to it. Yeah. And she's like, okay, good, it's settled. And then they like make love. And then he goes, he's like, I'll go check on the snowmobile. It probably works. And then he goes and then he lies about it, then comes back. I mean, like, you know, she's somebody who is, she has tried to, they have had the thoughts of divorce. They never talked about it. They never talked about it, which is even more reserved than a lot of real life married couples. Real life married couples have openly talked about divorce and still have come back and found a place where they can heal and come together. And Jack and Wendy never even said it out loud until they went and saw that doctor who was like, here's what's up with your son. I think he's going through this, this, and this, which also, that's one of my favorite scenes. And one of the scenes I was most missing from the film was that when that doctor breaks everything down logically and psychologically for the Torrances to be like, okay, that's what's going on with our kid, to like make them go, sure, yeah, he's eccentric, whatever, like he's going through trauma, as opposed to, no, man, like Tony is a real kid, is a real dead kid that is living in your son or whatever. but that whole scene where they actually said it out loud meant to me that Wendy and Jack never said it to themselves, never had that discussion. So Wendy is somebody who is doing everything that she can in her power. We know why she can't go back to her mother's. Danny doesn't even want to go to her mom's. Yeah. And Danny explains why. And you cannot disagree with that kid. You're like, fuck, okay, we can't take that kid there. Like, he's absolutely right. So she's doing everything she can with all that she has. It's not about, well, she's making dumb decisions. That's not what I would do. I would go fix the snowmobile. That's not what the story is.
She gives the best intentions and believes the best in the worst people.
Yes, and she's trying, and there's still a side of her that's like, I think I can still salvage this relationship, and she still loves Jack.
Yeah, this is like, honestly, one of the roughest books to read for me, and there's a lot of reasons why, but the idea of Wendy being, I don't think she's just as bad a parent, but I do think that when you're a kid and your parents make mistakes, they have consequences that you could never imagine, and kids interpret things in a very like unexpected way sometimes. Little thing we were talking about at the beginning of the month, just developmental psychology, and in the first like 2 years of your life, if you're around someone like Wendy who's anxious and stressed all the time, you are more likely to have anxiety or depression later. If you know, even if you're not being directly hurt in any way, being around that impacts the way that you grow up, your psychology.
Yep.
And so I think that while she is trying her best, I think a kid being in the middle of that dynamic is going to have serious consequences, and they both contribute to that. I also really like the idea that it could be psychological, because some kids really do pick up on everything.
So you're saying Tony might not be a supernatural element?
I think he's a supernatural element, but I like
I think he's a personification of The Shining.
That's possible. Ooh, do you think, we talked about this last time, do you think Jack has The Shining?
No. I don't think he does. I think that Wendy does.
You think Wendy has a little bit?
I think that, like you said, I think that Jack, and whether the Overlook has this power or not, I'm not quite clear on it, but I think that the Overlook chose Jack. The Overlook may have even had an influence on what happened to Jack in like the few years before the Overlook, where like maybe the Overlook somehow influenced Jack to feel this certain way about his student and to sabotage that job. You think that's all Jack? It could be all Jack. It could be all Jack.
That's giving him I feel like that's giving him an out.
As opposed to take responsibility for your actions,
yes,
Jack.
That he is an angry, like, and even with the hotels, like Wendy feels like he was when he was drinking, but he's not drinking. I think that the house, you know, poltergeist, whatever, they feed on negative energy, on weakness.
But do you think he was picked, or do you think it's a coincidence that he finds this job because he knew his guy, he knew his buddy from Boston, and his buddy is somehow involved with the Overlook people and management, and so he got him this job? Or do you think that the Overlook picked Jack?
I think that as soon as he got there, it picked him. I don't think that it orchestrated getting him there.
Okay, that's fair.
Because if it could leave a house or a hotel,
well,
you know, like if that
Well, they're using Al through it, really, aren't they? They're delivering a message through Al, who knows
Yeah,
him.
so maybe it's
Possibly, I don't know. It's I'm also letting the movie influence me a little bit, and spoilers for the end of the movie. There's an image where it just goes to a picture party New Year's Eve from like 1929, and Jack Nicholson's in there. So it's this thing of like, you've always been the caretaker. Like I'm letting that kind of influence my read of like, maybe the Overlook has always picked Jack. There's always been somebody that the Overlook will pick to come and be the caretaker, and whether it was that guy that tried to kill his family, that sort of thing of like,
well, and anyone who's there and stays there for an extended time,
but I don't think he has
been
the
a
Shining.
lot over the years.
I don't think he has the Shining. I think
we're looking at two extreme coping mechanisms. Tony is the coping mechanism of Danny, where Danny has had a lot of trauma. Danny has had a lot going on, so he's compartmentalizing. So he's got the one that's safe and like intrigued, and the other one that has the gift of the Shining.
That's warning him.
Yeah, to communicate because he's observant, but it's this compartmentalized coping mechanism that's there, kind of like a schizophrenia in a way, but like they interact with each other, but one is informed and like, supplies information to the other
why is the hotel blocking how can the hotel block Tony? Because isn't in this section, right?
Maybe I don't know anything about psychology at all, but maybe the trauma of the
I need wine.
More wine?
Oh yeah.
I'll take some more wine. Man, you really went through that.
Oh, I had
a big pour.
I was a Hector.
It was a Hector.
But I also think that we're looking at Jack's coping mechanism, and Jack's coping mechanism is to put up a blockade, brick wall, block out, numb.
Yeah,
and it used to be alcoholism.
They talk about the black, purple, whatever that's in him at the beginning of the book when Halliday? No, that's Ready Player One.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Same. Halloran. Halloran, the cook.
Yes, Halloran. Yeah. Halloran. Where he says, "I can sense something. It's not The Shining, but it's this like darkness." I think that's him.
It's the opposite of The Shining.
It's and it's blocking anything from getting in because that was his coping mechanism with his dad.
Yeah.
I really want to bring this up, but maybe we can postpone it until next week if it's more movie related. But I really want to bring this up because it is going to influence me now for the rest of the read of this book. But I saw a video on YouTube, and videos on YouTube are usually shit, and this one's kind of in the middle. But this guy had this theory that watching the movie The Shining, and to an extent the story in the book, his take on it was that Danny is a victim of sexual abuse from Jack. And he was pointing to specific things in the film. Some of them were a stretch. Some of them were like, okay, I could actually see.
Wow. Oh, the
Kubrick.
Scene in the bedroom when he's talking. Oh,
when you just think of that idea and you watch the movie, it kind of gives it a different context. And when you read the story, it kind of gives it a different context. So I wanted to bring that up because I don't know if I necessarily buy that or believe it, but I think that it's interesting that the book and the film have such strong like notions of abuse and metaphors for that like it's not the craziest thing to me to have somebody read into that in that way, to have the Jack Nicholson character, Jack Torrance in the book, have like be sexually abusing Danny in some way, and Danny coping by then creating Tony and doing and the story in the book or in the movie earlier when he's talking to like a pediatrician, a doctor, she shows up and talks to Danny.
I don't like that scene as much. The book's so much better.
Yeah, but she's asking him questions about Tony, and at one point he's like, "I don't want to talk about Tony anymore." And you just that move, you're like, it's like sorry, microphone. It's like heartbreaking, not just for
that was his first acting role. That kid. He's brilliant. He's amazing.
He is brilliant.
Jack Nicholson's too good.
I watched the movie with my buddy Cameron Rice, who's a huge movie cinephile, and he was telling me, he goes, Kubrick didn't tell him he was in a horror movie.
No, told him he was
That's
in a drama.
That's what they do a lot with kids. This is less of a starring thing, but one of my friend's little brothers is in the end of the movie Hannibal on the plane. And he eats. Have you seen it?
No.
He eats brains, and they just gave him chocolate, and he's just like, "Hello," and and they didn't.
And then with scary music, that's the scariest fucking thing ever. But Ian was just on a movie set.
He was my friend's little brother. She's a year younger than me. He was like 8, and he just. Yeah.
But talk about a good child actor performance.
He was
phenomenal.
Well, and Steve.
Sorry. Poll really, really quickly. We're halfway through it and getting some answers going. Do you think that it's the hotel making Jack go insane? Yes, it's the hotel at 50% so far. No, it's something else. 5%. I don't know anymore. 15%. Possibly 30%.
Wow.
So most people are saying, yeah, it's that hotel.
How come there's not an option number 5 of he was already insane?
Yeah, and it's
that's
just
the one I would vote for.
People in the chat are saying if we can go up. There's a theory that they need someone who can personify the feelings of the hotel. The caretaker may change, but the type of person is the same.
Yes.
So it's luring, and I'm going to save it for next week to give people more time, but because we read Haunting of Hill House for the first book on this show,
I don't know if I can do that.
I watched all 10 episodes in 24 hours. It's one of the best horror shows I watched like 3 Friday night, and then like 3 in the morning, and then I took breaks, but
and 3 around supper time.
And I'm gonna watch it again because it is gonna. I think it will reward multiple viewings. It doesn't follow the plot of the book at all, but it has a lot of the same themes, and I think they could.
I don't think I'll
in later seasons do it. It's this kind of writing of.
Wait, are all of our favorite characters in the show though?
No.
What?
No.
Who's in the show? Is it like the family?
It's
that we don't care about?
No, oh man, Hector, it's one of the best
really?
shows I've ever watched.
I love Carla Gugino.
Me too.
She's amazing.
Oh.
She's great.
I love her. Yeah,
right.
and then there are 3 actresses who play her daughters that look just like her.
That's what,
and then second Dario, hot Dario, and some blonde beardy dude who's
pretty fine too.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rachel, you having a moment? Do you need a moment?
No, but it's really great because
Is there
it's
ghosts
dealing
in every
with
shot?
it's dealing with trauma and abuse. And
that's what somebody said in the chat
terms of
earlier.
a haunting, and it is such amazing writing. And I do think that in later seasons they could do the actual book storyline.
Is it the best like adaptation of?
Well, it's not an adaptation.
The best thing to come from that book, do you think? It's better than the Catherine Zeta-Jones movie?
It's definitely better than the Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Better
I think
than
that's
like
the
the
only one I could
50s
watch.
The
movie?
50s one is really, I love the 50s one.
It's good.
But it's up there for me with shows that I've watched this year, which are all kind of dark ones, but like The Sinner, Sharp Objects, Dark, Mindhunter, Killing
There's just a show
Eve.
called Dark.
I've seen.
Yeah, it's a time travel one.
I've seen Mindhunter.
Oh, wow.
I was fine with that.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though it's because
watched
they
too
were
much.
describing it, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
that's
it's
the
one
thing.
of the
If
best.
someone talks me through something, I'm like, meh. But if I see it, see you later. Done.
Well, this one freaked me out, but yeah, I want to talk about it next week.
Okay.
If we can, if people will like watch the pilot.
All right, I'll check it out.
No. Aha. Next. Danny has bruises on his neck, and he's explained that it's this woman doing it, but obviously, Shelley Duvall, she's not Wendy anymore, sorry. She obviously sees that and blames Jack. Another fun fact, in the movie when Jack's yelling and she goes to pick Danny up and go away, because he thought that they were saying it's just a drama and that scene was a little bit too scary, that was a mannequin.
Wow,
Yeah, it
of
wasn't
Danny?
an actual person. They didn't want him in the scene for that one.
That's crazy.
wow.
I didn't know
They
that.
told him it was a drama, and they didn't show him the movie. And then I think there was an edited version that they showed him when he was like 12 or like a kid, a little bit older, but they heavily edited it. And then he saw the full thing at like 17. Yeah.
Did he keep acting?
No.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Imagine like Stanley Kubrick being the first director you ever work with. You've
That's
never met
awesome.
him.
Pass.
Okay.
That's
That's
awesome.
torture.
Yeah.
Oh, it's torture? Is he terrible?
Yeah.
How
He got
many-
a great performance
it's
out of
like
that kid actor.
167
Yeah, because
takes
he's
of the
like
door scene.
Yeah, he's like
125
perfectionist?
takes. something
he's
that.
like a Fincher, but like
125
even more like
Wow.
maybe
I didn't
an
know that.
abuse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But would he treat... Well,
sadistic.
again, the fact that the kid didn't know he was in a horror movie, that makes me think that Kubrick treated him differently on set than he did adult actors.
What's his name? The kid.
Hyperprotective.
Danny Lloyd.
What's his name?
Danny?
Director?
Kubrick? Did I say it wrong?
I don't know. I've always heard
Did I say
Kubrick, but Kubrick.
I like saying Kubrick like
It's like
Kubert.
you saying Tuesday and me saying Tuesday.
Those sounded the
Yeah,
same.
but he's from
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
But we're both from Southern
Tuesday.
California,
That's true.
so we shouldn't have different.
Kubrick? Kubrick?
That's like
Kubrick sounds like a
how
Lego
would, you,
panel.
how would you say the shortened version of UC Santa Barbara?
UCB. UCSB.
Say it again.
UCSB.
Okay, that's right.
What
I had a friend from California who would go UCSB, and I was like, "What are you
Yeah,
doing?"
It's UCSB.
I don't know.
That's weird.
kind of thing really
Like
bothers
UCLA.
me. Why is the inflection there? I don't understand.
UC Irvine. Yeah.
That's where my parents met.
Oh, that's great. Go Anteaters. Zot, zot, zot.
What is happening?
A Southern California moment.
Well, I'll leave you to it and talk about the
Well, you know, you
Shining.
got to take the 405 to the 5 and then take the 16
So Jack and
to
Wendy
the 10.
have a huge fight.
Huh?
Jack thinks about
Hillary?
killing Wendy. While watching the movie, I just wish he kind of did it. But Jack keeps seeing things.
Wow, why are you so anti-Wendy?
So he really didn't like the casting, or maybe it was in Stephen King. Stanley Kubrick didn't like the casting of Duvall.
Okay.
Saw Wendy as like a more of a cheerleader grown-up sort of deal. So like blonde and more of like a homekeeper, like a
really
like a little Betty
That's what
Crocker.
Stephen King saw. Yeah, because she's blonde in the book, and sure.
But said I don't know if it's Kubrick. I think it was Kubrick. We thought that someone who was like that sheltered and that kind of like dippy in a way, this would be such a more harsh reality for them to be in because it's so different from their lives. Whereas she's kind of like a little bit like woo. So the notion of like haunting, instead of being like ew, she'd be like, yeah, cool, you know. So I think that was like the difference. And he was super, super frustrated with her, and he would make her do take after take. I'm telling you, like hundreds of times.
That's a bummer.
Until
I thought she did a great job.
The bat scene or the knife, time and time again. And his notion is the more times you do it, like by your 50th take, it's so natural. So if you go to open a door, it's like you're not going, I'm acting about opening.
You're just opening the door.
It's just you're getting it done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it. He tortured Scatman Crothers by making him slam a car door 300 times, says Reading Dodo Kiwi.
That's a bummer.
The fact they got Scatman is so cool. Anyone else get that song stuck in their head? We're not going to say it.
He also made Shelley Duvall feel like crap as Wendy. Her bit on the stairs with the bat saying she is confused and looking distraught is the actress and not the character. Kubrick made her do take after take.
And to get Jack in that sort of like insane state, apparently they only fed him cheese sandwiches for 2 weeks, and he hates cheese. And he was only allowed to eat cheese sandwiches.
Who is
on
that?
set.
Jason Corey? Sorry, one of our VPs hates cheese, and therefore
cheese.
I don't understand him.
Coffee?
Don't even worry about him. He's
USCCB.
Well, and it's also
Get out of the joke. You're not invited in, Maude.
No, you can.
I got it wrong.
Invited.
I got it wrong.
You're always invited.
Thanks, T-Boys. Perfectly
heart.
summing up exactly what's wrong with me. He caught a cold on his flight back from Prague. He's drunk on wine and Dayquil. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Kubrick is sort of like the Jared Leto of directors.
Yeah, what a
that.
great millennial
If you
appraisal.
were gonna think about it, like everyone's like, no, stop it. No one wants to take it that serious.
Stop sending a pig's head to your castmates.
Stupid.
You're getting in the vibe of Joker, dude.
That's such a bummer.
Like, no, because it's like,
I don't think that he needed to be that way to get the end result product of his movie. I think you could have gotten that movie. Like, I watched that movie and I was like, good performances, really good cinematography, like some good, scary, spooky moments.
Long shots.
Bro, you could have done this.
Yeah.
By being normal
gosh,
still.
the blood elevator scene.
Pretty cool.
it's so
They
good.
got 3 takes for that. And that doesn't sound like many compared to 200 takes of slamming a door.
But I bet it took a lot of setup. Yeah.
Like 8 days
Yeah.
to set it up. So that's 3 takes. Apparently from Wodego, doing all of those 3 takes took over the span of a year.
Wow.
I don't know any of these facts myself. My date was clued up.
And I'll tell you this,
I'm literally
too.
repeating and recycling
your
everything.
date's a horror movie fan.
And
Still.
I'll tell you this too. This is what I do know about the movie. When it came out in 1980, people were like, "This is bad."
Yeah.
They thought it was like cheesy and bad and not a horror classic the way people think of it today. They thought it was really melodramatic. They thought it was unrealistic. They were like, "This is a bad movie."
But they also said that about Practical Magic, which celebrated its 20th anniversary
Let's talk
yesterday.
about Practical
and it's
Magic.
a tale as old as time.
That's true. Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman, Practical Magic.
Just because it was made 20 years ago.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, it's in my head because we posted about it.
Are we talking about movies that were made 20 years ago?
Oh my
Saving
God,
Private
wait,
Ryan.
have you ever seen it?
1998. So good.
Wait, have you ever seen Practical Magic?
No, because they had toads in there. And
There's only
fucking
one
hate
scene. Maybe we'll watch that one
Hate
tomorrow.
toads.
Toads, really?
Yeah, yeah. So do you guys remember, like, did you ever have those board games? I think I told you about this. The board games where it's like you put the VHS in and it's like the ghoul.
No, did you have something
I never
like that?
had
It's called
them. I
like
know about
Nightmare
them.
and
You knew
Atmosphere.
about
Fear.
Yeah.
So I
Star
had
Trek
that.
came
they
out with
sound
one.
awesome.
And what you had to do is write your biggest fear on a bit of paper and put it in the bucket in the middle of the game board, and whoever, so mine was toads.
No,
Really?
you
My
showed
brothers
me
were
pictures of
death.
the toads. Death is up there.
Maude, do you know that there's a
Don't.
like a toad in a jar behind you because there's a bunch of jars back there. There's one that's floating and it's really prominent.
I can
It's right
see it in
behind-
the, I'm not turning around, I can see
it's
it.
right.
No, it's out
there's
of
one
frame.
yeah, it's right out of frame, and it's
I'm
like.
gonna reach in and grab it.
Can it like this? Just don't do it.
The power of suggestion. Oh my God.
Tell me about it. I can't. I just got this like that. I'm working 5 days a week. Why would you do this to me? God damn it. I mean, like the Amy Vorpahl scare group, like support group.
Just Kubrick her.
No.
Yeah.
I
You just
very
Kubricked
clearly reached for nothing.
For nothing, yeah. Ma, don't look back there.
Oh, there is a frog in
There's
it.
a frog. And I just saw it move a little bit. I saw it twitch inside of there.
Hey, anyway, speaking of things that move the hedge animals, did they move?
Great scene. Yeah, they do. It's not in Jack's mind. The Overlook's haunted.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Halloran said, I think I saw something in the hedge maze, but I don't know. I'm going to Florida. Bye.
I'm going to stay in a hotel room with their titties on the wall.
What? Oh, in the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that hotel room
I
was
haven't
amazing.
seen it in a while. I was
It
like,
was
what are you talking
those two framed pictures. I think that was like his house or something.
No, it's a Florida
What?
hotel.
It might be.
was
Those
working at
pictures
the-
were amazing. They were like very 70s blaxploitation, like gorgeous black women with big afros and definitely their titties hanging out. It was
They weren't hanging out.
They were like-
not hanging
they were
out
like
the bloated
there.
woman in the bathtub.
yeah, those were hangers. And then the description in this book, come on, Stephen King. Come on.
Can we talk about that bath
Breasts
scene?
are all different
She-
shapes and sizes,
That's true.
and they're all
Hangers
fine.
are cool.
Yeah, and guys are lucky that they even get a glimpse of them.
Oh,
True,
absolutely,
true.
100%.
So with the bath scene in the book,
Steven, this is what happens when Aaron goes out of town.
Sorry, Stephen.
Aaron, we need you. Bring us pizza.
Now I'm blamed for.
Mom, you said you
For what?
you
We
said
do this every
something
time.
about guys being lucky about boobs, and I heard from back there, hey. I think that's what I heard. I might be wrong, but I think somebody was agreeing with you. Just going by like, hey.
Sounds
Love
like it.
love
Yeah.
it.
Oh my God.
The scene in the bathtub. Why did Kubrick decide that he wanted the woman to be younger and be suggestive, and then transform?
To further drive home the point that Jack is a bad
He's
man.
being seduced.
Yes.
Got it. He's being seduced by the
That
hotel.
Jack, on top of everything, would very easily have an affair.
Yeah. So he doesn't actually love Wendy. That's
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that it is I was just talking to.
Does anyone really love anyone? I'm sorry.
Whoa, is love real?
doing that.
No,
Do you want to
Damn.
go there? Do you want to get on that little tricycle and just?
No. I just
Rachel.
I was thinking about it. As I was thinking.
Does anyone really love anyone? It's
love you.
fucked up, man.
I love you.
This
Rachel.
dude just got married. Yeah, let's ask that question. There we go. I think you really broke his brain. He just got married and he was like, fuck. Then you just made him question his life choices.
No, he's fine. I just meant like I was thinking about.
But really though,
I
does
was
anyone really love anyone?
You know how
Oh, there's a new poll.
Wait.
Do you know what love is?
There's no poll. Mom,
you
there's
know how
nothing there.
sometimes when you think a thing and you accidentally
You say
no.
it? Sure. Yeah, we've all seen You've Got Mail. Yeah, of course.
So no, what I was thinking was when we were talking about abuse and how you can love someone and hurt them.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about affairs where it's like, oh, you could cheat on someone but still love them, but it's
But still,
it's horrible.
You say that you love a person.
and then
yeah.
I meant,
love
if
you.
that's the I love you
Oh,
too.
no.
I just mean if that's the ending up together or being
Yeah.
happy together in any kind of relationship, family, friends, romantic.
Yeah.
None of it's perfect. So our idea of love, that's what I meant, is like the concept
Well,
of love that is very
I'll
simple
say
and
this,
pure
yes.
is not really how love
no.
works.
No.
And
we
I'll
have
say
a-
this.
I didn't mean that no one loves. I love Pan and I love you guys.
Yes.
And
That's it. And that's it.
That's all you
But
need.
is
probably
love-
some other people.
But is love
That's all
really?
you need.
Do people really love people? But Stephen
sorry.
King and Stanley Kubrick, I think both are saying about this particular relationship between Jack and Wendy that it is not love. That Jack says that he loves her, but is still abusive towards her, and that she is caught in a cycle of abuse. So it is in fact not love. So when we have a scene in the film where Jack is all of a sudden looking at a young, beautiful woman who's naked, and she's coming towards him and she wants to hug him and kiss him, like he's so open to it. It's the house
Yeah, I feel like
supernaturally
anyone
seducing
who-
him, but
if you walked into a creepy
Yep.
haunted hotel
Yep.
room where your kid just got hurt,
and a silent woman gets out of the tub
silent, naked,
and walks towards me. I don't care
depending
how
on
hot
your
she is.
preference,
No.
woman, man.
Don't care how hot the person is. I'd be like,
What's
I'd be
happening?
like, who the fuck
away
are you?
from me.
Get
Yeah.
away from
What are you
me.
doing? Put some clothes on.
Put some what's going on?
Why
Or
don't
just
you say
like
a
what?
word?
Or just like what's happening.
What's happening?
Like live your truth.
You know what?
If
I'd
you want to be
run out.
naked, be
I'm
naked.
sorry,
But
my
like,
real
tell me
thing is-
why.
I don't mean to naked body shame.
Did you attack my son?
My big thing is, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
Absolutely.
Oh, like when you open the bathroom door and it's like the lot, and
Oh,
you're like,
God.
oh God, I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I thought I locked it. Oh my god. Both ways.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
awful.
It's
Oh,
it's
and
an uncomfortable
I do not
situation for all
handle-
parties.
Like if I choose the embarrassing moment, sky's the limit with like, my God,
Yeah.
embarrassing myself and embarrassing people. But when it's something that I'm not prepared or ready for,
Hmm.
I make a small, awkward moment an
big-
avalanche of destruction. Like oh man, it's bad.
Oh God.
I really
the
quickly
chat's
don't-
making Valentine's Day cards by me. To blank is love real from blank.
I think that's a great idea. Meryl
Honestly-
Simmons, you should write Valentine's Day cards. I think that's brilliant.
To blank.
Honestly-
Do people even love people? From Rachel.
Is love even real?
Is love even
But you're
real?
actually catering to a vast majority of people
I
on
know.
Valentine's Day.
Everyone's look.
I'll tell you this,
We
people
all
would not
die.
forget that
I'm sorry.
Valentine's Day card. I'll say that much. If
I'm glad you guys didn't hear what I
if I was in elementary school, it was 4th grade, and I got a bunch of elementary school Valentine's Day cards from my classmates, and one of them was like, be my Valentine, and there's a picture of Darth Vader or whatever, and the other one's like, I choose you, and there's a train.
I gave that to a boyfriend.
Yeah, it's really cute. But if I saw one that was like, is love even real? Do people even love each other? Rachel Heine, I'd be like, what the fuck? What is this?
Really?
That
Yeah.
honestly sounds
I'd
like
be like,
something I would do.
Damn straight.
Yeah, damn
Yeah.
straight. I'd be
Well,
like,
I mean,
oh.
in comparison to the Darth Vader, like that's not that's not
Sure.
fair. to
Yeah.
compare
Sure.
those
Look,
two.
Valentine's Day, that whole holiday is a wash. It doesn't count. If
I told you that my
kid-
mum had to fake sending flowers to the school
Oh, yeah.
on my behalf
Oh,
to make me
that's
feel
dumb.
like I'm not depressed. Well, no,
I know.
it was actually probably
That's-
the best thing she's ever done.
That's so very sweet. You
Ever.
have told that story before. It's a very, very
Oh.
sweet. But I think the whole holiday it's bullshit.
It
and
is
it sounds
bullshit.
dumb coming from me because I sound like I'm a cheap bastard. It sounds like I'm
No.
a bad
But if
boyfriend,
you're,
but
if
it's
you're
like
in,
not real.
If you are in love with someone, you do cute, whatever those things are,
Yes.
whatever your love language is, you do all those cute things.
Love language.
But
it's the
I-
argument
What
that
is
like
everyone's love language?
what's that?
What are you talking?
Espanol. My love language is like
Italian.
my
for
love
sure.
language is, hey, have you read this comic book? Yeah. Let's talk about it. That's my love language. Hey, do you want to watch this movie? Yes, that's my love language.
Mine is
Just
talking
sharing
about
things
does
and quality
anyone
time.
really love anyone?
Does anyone
Like
really
having
love
that
anyone? Yeah.
conversation.
You like
So,
to get deep and meaningful.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's working out really well. for me.
I like to quote The Simpsons. I don't know.
But
Sprinkle
do you
a
know
little
about
Spanish in there.
the like love language? Like
No, I don't know. I
so
obviously
it's-
don't know anything about
there's
that,
like
Rachel.
a psychological test. It's like the Myers-Briggs of
What is the one that
relationships.
of relationships.
You don't know about the love
So
language
two
thing
people
either?
in a
Am I the
relationship
someone else
take
told
this
me about
test
it.
together?
It's about what you like to.
How you show
Do you
your
know how you
affection
show
or
your
whatever.
affection and how
It's how you show affection, how you like it.
how you like? So there's
Oh.
like
Gestures?
Yeah.
There's gifts, quality time. I just had to look it up too.
Thank
Gifts?
you.
Words of affirmation.
Words of
acts
affirmation,
service,
acts
and
of
physical
service.
touch.
Yeah.
Physical touch.
Hold on, what was acts of service?
That's like doing stuff.
Gestures.
Like yeah.
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 So
But the
mine.
first one's
I like
gifts.
that.
I don't like gifts.
Mine is
Gifts.
Mine are both.
I'm bad at that. What
What's
was-
the communication one?
What was the second one? Let's go through them again.
Affirmations
Wait,
and
how-
touch are
okay,
both.
how are we on gifts? Gifts, I'm bad at them. I'm bad at giving them and receiving them. What's the next one?
I like giving them to people.
Okay.
I don't care about receiving them,
Okay.
but that's not my main thing.
Got it.
I can't take a gift like I can take a compliment. Like it's just
Got
like,
it. What's the second thing? Quality time.
Yeah, not quantity time. Quality time. That's mine.
Yeah.
I'm bad at that.
That's
I'm
comic
really
books
bad at
and
that.
movies. Watch a movie with me right now.
But
Is that
I'm
not
bad at giving quality time.
you're
I'm
busy.
easy at receiving quality time. To me, quality time is if my girlfriend's like, I got a bunch of stuff to do, I'll be like, I'm cool. Let me hang out near you like a cat on a bed and I'll do my own
Sounds
thing.
great.
And I consider that quality time. But it's hard for me to reciprocate quality time and like put away my distractions and my work. That's
it.
tough for me to do.
Okay.
So that's something I need to work on. Thank you,
I'm
Stephen.
I like being like a mix.
Oh my gosh, mine's
Mm-hmm.
Immortal Amazons. My love language is snacking and napping together. That's exactly mine.
Sounds good. What's the third thing?
That's why I have a dog.
Words of affirmation.
Words of
Yeah.
affirmation.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
I'm like, I'm your
I
cheerleader.
want you to. Yeah. I'm.
You're
Yeah.
amazing. This is why you're great. These are the reasons
But do
why.
you
Yeah.
want that back?
Yes.
Yeah. That's my main one for sure.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe that is my main one.
Hey Maude, you keep beating yourself up over this thing, but have you realized
Yeah.
all these great things? I'm like,
Hey, could you remind
Oh, that
me that
sounds
people
great.
do love each other?
That sounds good. What's the
But
next
like-
one?
yeah.
Acts service.
No, I don't care about that.
I like acts of service are like
To do or to receive?
Gestures.
Like if someone surprised you with, I don't know.
Or I just
Both.
happened to swing by and I got
Yeah.
you some
I
food
do
as well
that.
as me.
But I don't
both.
care if people do that.
Acts of service is good because it's like, hey, can you do that thing for me? I already did it. And then they go, oh, that thing. Like, I love doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's a nice thing.
That stupid
Yeah.
thing. Oh.
I still
Hey.
think quality time and affirmation.
And of course,
And what's your
Java
last
Bookie
thing?
Girl has the test there.
Well, obviously. That's
yeah,
the best
for
one.
sure. Yeah.
That's
the
the
last
best
one?
one.
Physical touch.
No thanks.
Huh?
Don't. Oh.
Maude, watch out for that
Oh
toad behind you.
my God!
What?
I will throw a shoe.
I can't believe how much you reacted. I mean, I can't, but I really,
So
I
I
was
was
even
really-
trying to
Is
fool
this
you.
because
guys, I was
Australia is
really bad.
infested with toads?
Brisbane. I was really, really bad after the movie. So during the movie, I was kind of fine. I'd read
The
most
Shining?
of the book.
Yeah.
I was actually okay. But then I had to take my dog out for a walk to pee, and I went around the block.
Hedges.
Just holy crap! Like anything, a car alarm went off. Oh, I walked past a car and the boot. What do you call a boot? The trunk. was open, and I was just like, I thought maybe a person was in there with a knife.
A little child drove by on his little trike, and you're like, oh.
But like anything, a door made a creak when I opened it, freaked out.
You
like
rounded the
everything.
corner and there
I
was
just
two twins
really
holding
not-
hands.
And the
Super
worse
scary.
it gets, like I get in my head about it, and I was just like, yeah. So that was like awful. But during the movie, I was actually pretty good. It was my moment. I was like, no.
I explained a scene in the film to a friend over my vacation because I took this all over Europe. I took this all over Europe and read the book when I had time.
It's so
I know, mine's
together.
battered.
I know.
Oh, really? No, it's pretty beat to shit. My book's pretty beat to
No.
shit. Really?
I've been reading mine on
Okay, great.
online,
Oh
but-
yeah, Maude's is pretty bad. But I explained to a
really
friend.
love it too.
I have a friend who's never seen the movie, and I explained the weird, horrifying image of like the dude in the bear costume performing oral sex on that old guy, and then
that
getting
fucked
up,
me
like which is
as
such
a
a.
teen. I watched
it
The
kinda
Shining
fucks
when
you
I
up.
was like 12 or 13.
That little image is really scary and weird and out of context, and it's
Yeah.
weird. And I explained it to her.
Blind.
Hold on.
She got
I
real
missed the
spooked.
first half of that.
I explained this visual image from the movie The Shining to
When
my
they're at the
friend
party.
who's never
Yeah.
seen.
That's what I didn't like.
Who's
Yeah.
she's never seen the movie. And as I explained it to her, she kept asking me questions about it, and I was like, look, I really should just look this up online, or like, you should just watch the movie, because I tried to explain, I'm like, when you explain the film to somebody, it's scarier than if you just watch the
it's not.
movie.
No, it's
I
not at
disagree.
all.
Because
At
when you
all.
watch the movie, Maude,
No.
you get to the end at least, and you know Wendy
No.
and Danny get
No.
away. Do you know what I
I-
mean? As opposed to like explaining the premise or visual images from the movie. I think that imagination
don't
is
think
always
it ends
scarier
when you-
than the reality,
Well,
right? Imagination is always scarier
because
than the reality.
No, because I don't like. Okay.
Because
so,
you can't visualize things.
Yes. So the visual stuff gets me more. So even if it ends and I know it ends okay, that's what stays with me
Yes.
because it's
Same.
like burned into my brain in a way that when I was reading it or hearing about it or thinking about it, it wasn't visual.
You don't have. Okay.
It was conceptual
But
or
at least
whatever.
the visual watching and sitting through the movie, you get the closure.
No,
you get
but
the
then
closure.
you're at home
Nope.
in the dark.
No,
No, I
do
watched
you know what it did,
Hereditary.
Hector? It
I
planted a
can't
thought.
think about Hereditary in my apartment and look into a corner. Cannot do it.
What happens in the corner?
It's really you cannot watch it. You
No, I
can't.
won't. I will never watch it, but I want to hear about it. This is the
No.
thing. I remember I was
I
having...
don't want to hear about it.
I
because
honestly can't even
'cause
tell.
if you-
Like, and
because
I
if-
don't get
'cause
like
if you tell me about
fucked
it,
me up.
guys,
in
what
the
happens in the
corner?
corner of Hereditary? What happens?
What was in the corner?
There's
Something in the corner?
there's so much. The
See, and I
visuals
don't-
and,
here's the
also
thing,
the
and I
visuals
don't
in that
want you to
movie are
describe it to me.
so disgusting
If you
and
describe
so
it to me,
horrifying.
it'll fuck me up because
and
my
it's a
imagination
family
won't
thing.
run with it. I'd rather just
because
watch the movie.
No, because I mean,
It's really bad.
No,
It's really scary.
So I remember when I like lost friends not watching horror in high school because it's like what everyone did.
You're about to lose more friends right now, girl.
I'm not watching Hereditary.
No, she's coming to.
The Shining?
watched it
No,
already.
I'm having a. It's for late. It's a
Don't
coven night.
feel
I'm
bad.
sorry.
Go ahead. It's a coven night.
It is.
What are you guys going to watch?
We're gonna
Because you earlier
Hexmen
promised her that it wasn't going to be
yes,
horror movies.
Because I have
It is going to
plenty
be?
of friends who don't like. Most of my friends don't like horror movies.
Okay.
It's either going to be The Craft or Hocus Pocus.
That's fun.
Practical Magic.
Yeah, that's
Casper.
Oh, that's a fun one.
I remember 9 years old when I watched that in the cinema.
Can I keep you?
Forget about that. Don't listen to it. Someone told me about The Witch.
Oh, the
The
Vivitch?
Witches?
No.
It's pretty fucked up.
The Witch.
The Vivitch.
The Vivitch. The Vivitch. Yeah. And
Pretty
again,
scary
I was
movie.
walking,
We
and
should
I
watch The
walked
Witches.
past a tree at
That's
night
scary.
when they were telling me about it, and a leaf grazed me, and I was like, ah!
You see, but they just told you about it.
No, I would not be able to. No, that was like a very mild version of what it would be like if I was watching that movie, because it has suspense. When you're just talking
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
I'm like building the information as we go. But it's that suspense where they hold something over you, and
Well,
I
that's
have
those are the scariest movies. Is the ones that are
Infinite-
suspenseful. Have you seen The Invitation?
No, but I've seen the Vivitch. But no, that's exactly, I agree with you.
so
What I'm
good.
saying is that when you have a scene or a moment explained to you, you do not have the release, for lack of a better term, of actually seeing the story through all the way through. Does that make sense?
It does.
I know what happens at the end of the Vivitch. That means that I could watch that movie again,
No, but what
and
you
it's
happened-
a different
what you did was
experience than watching it for the
you
first time.
planted every little bit of information by the time it got to the end, and that's what's damaging. Not the end; it's everything that happened throughout it, and that's what I have and wears with me and can recall on and build upon.
But at least the end lets you know, hey, you made it through this journey.
Nah.
Whether it's good or
You're on
bad,
your own
it's,
with that,
it's,
Hector.
Here's
it's
an interesting
over.
thing.
Yeah.
So I have nightmares. I have lots. Used to have a lot. I don't as much anymore because I take sleeping stuff. But as a kid, I had recurring nightmares. This weird situation happened where a guy was trying to break into a bunch of apartments where he apparently had been watching, and there were single women.
this
in
in your
LA.
dream?
It was in
Or was it
LA. It
real?
was in no, this happened to me. It was probably in the late 90s, right by the Beverly Center where I lived. I lived on Colgate. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I heard a great podcast about it.
Yeah, and so this guy was like stalking apartments on this street, and my mom and I lived, she was a single mom and we lived alone. And someone came to the door at like dusk and like said he was from City Hall or something, and my mom kind of like turned off the lights around the house so you couldn't like see shadows and stuff, and basically said like, oh, you know, my husband and I go to City Hall all the time and donate. And I was like, what are you talking about? You don't have a husband. And she was like, shut.
Yeah.
And he got really mad and like jiggled the door and whatever. And so we called the cops and we're like, hey, this guy is trying to get in. And they said, we've gotten 3 other calls on your block from women who live alone. And then later that night, they like down our driveway, there were like helicopter lights. And it clearly, I mean, that was deeply scary and traumatizing.
Yeah.
And I had these recurring nightmares of 2 guys like trying to get into our house. I ended up, I think, in 5th grade, like when we were starting to write short stories, I like wrote about it, and my teacher was like, "Are you okay?" Because they like had a chainsaw and stuff. But I had these recurring nightmares, and I had to train myself that when I woke up, I would go back to sleep and try to continue, like a video game,
Control.
Yes.
to go back to my save point
I
and
did that
fix
with,
it.
with the leprechaun, but keep going.
Yeah,
You have
and
a
so
leprechaun recurring nightmare?
I did for a minute.
Why
Leprechaun.
leprechaun?
Kind of from Leprechaun. And you know why? Because I never fucking saw any of those movies. And I bet you if I just watched the movies, I'd be like, oh, these are bad. It's just
really?
Warwick Davis and bad makeup. But I've never
See,
seen any
when
of the Leprechaun movies.
it's
So then
seeing
Leprechaun
it that does
became.
it. Well, I guess
it
I didn't
makes
see
it
the
less
guy.
scary for me because I've only seen clips and things of the Leprechaun starring Jennifer Aniston. So then I had some recurring nightmares where the Leprechaun was attacking me and he had the most power in my, like Freddy Krueger in my dreamland. I couldn't do anything.
Wow, my recurring nightmare was different. I
Toads?
knew I was being chased, but I couldn't see anything behind me. And I was running through the forest, and the trees get thicker and thicker and thicker, and then like.
And then they became a
darker and
toad.
darker. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Talking about toads though, I still, you know. But when I was looking back, I hit a stump, like a root of a tree, and fell forward. And then when I land face forward, I wake up on my back, and then that's like disorienting.
Oh, that's
but
weird.
I get chased a lot.
My recurring one to this day is, and I've already analyzed this, so I don't need anyone to do it for me. But my teeth falling out.
Yep.
But
Common.
But
Everything we just said was common.
But
yeah.
on top of that, I'm going to people being like, help,
Yeah.
and no one can see it.
I've had that where I was like, I'm talking and they're crumbling, and I'm like spitting them out.
Oh, mine is like,
I've had the.
and that's visual. Even though I can't see
Yeah.
it, I know there were visuals when I was dreaming.
Yeah.
But I
had the
can't remember visuals.
I've had the falling off a cliff dream. I've had the being chased by a giant monster with big feet dream, which is really, really scary.
Oh, I had a robot that killed
Yeah.
my mum.
Yeah, yeah. We've all
I'm
had that
sorry, the
stuff.
way you said that was so cute.
So back to this conversation of like
Yeah, that's
visual, not visual, I'm of the mind that if you actually sit down and watch a horror film, it makes it, if you get it to the end of it, less scary than just hearing about it. Because look, I'm going to give y'all credit. I think your imaginations are scarier
Hold on, so how
than the real
not
thing.
for me.
My imaginations are frightening. Yes, my imaginations are super, super vivid. But having seen The Shining,
Then you
scared
add
during
on to it.
Yeah.
then got in my head after it.
And then you hear noises and you're alone and there's stuff happening back there. Like, that just freaked me out a little bit.
I'll give you that, but whenever that freaks me out, oh my God, there's a toad right there. There's a big toad right there. I just think to the if I get freaked out by The Shining, if I'm walking my dog Zelda and I freak out because I hear a car. What was it? A bonk? What's a trunk in Australian? What is it?
Boot.
A boot. If I hear the boot of a car or whatever.
A boot.
I'll think Canadian. Yeah. I'll think right to the end of the movie, and I'm like, okay, The Shining is scary. I'll give you that. But Wendy got out of there.
But it
Well,
wasn't
that's
that
what I would. That's what I would do when I was trying to go to sleep. Where I was like, if I were in this situation, this is what I would have done.
Pull out a shotgun. Yeah.
Never held a gun before?
No, that's what I tried.
No, this is the thing. This is what I've
Leprechaun
realized.
beat
It's
me.
like when I was talking about the zombie apocalypse. It's like, what would my role be? Oh God, I'm so weak.
Dead.
Yeah, I'm going to sacrifice myself
Yes.
to save the group.
You would be
she'd
the
fine.
librarian in the zombie apocalypse.
No, I would be the person in the credits that you
archiver?
see dying as the movie starts
Rachel,
before anyone
You would
notices
be
what's happening.
The archiver, like Maude just said.
Yeah, you would archive information.
Yes.
Make sure that everything.
Everyone knows about zombies.
No, but you would be like, the apocalypse happened 74 moons ago. Like you would.
Okay. I'm the Trelawney.
Yes.
I'm the Luna. Yeah.
Yes.
Scribe.
The scribe.
So I was really bummed about it for like years. I was like, man, if this ever happens, like I would have to sacrifice myself to save the group. And I realized that, but that is probably the most brave role.
Okay.
To
Yeah,
have.
but then you die.
100%. Like every way I look at it, I died. But then I realized, getaway driver. Bitch,
Oh
you
yeah,
drive.
there you go.
You can drive, really? Stick shift?
No.
Okay, well then you're 50% useful in a zombie
I don't know.
apocalypse.
Why is this?
No, I think most cars are automatic now, right?
Yeah.
All right,
What's your
okay.
role?
I am the negotiator.
Hero?
No.
You can't
I feel like
negotiate
you'd be
with
the
zombie
hero.
terrorists.
I feel like you'd be
No,
the
no,
hero.
no. But the scariest part of a zombie apocalypse
Mediator.
is the other tribes of people you meet.
No, yeah, the people
So
are the.
I'm the negotiator.
yeah.
I'm the person
Much
that's
like
Mediator.
Stephen
yeah.
King's works, including It, the monsters. The
Yeah.
monster
Yeah.
is Jack.
Yes.
In It, the monsters are the adults.
Yes, who are apathetic
Oftentimes, yeah,
towards the children's
or abuse,
plight.
I mean, the dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in the
Bevy.
Dark Tower, the monster is the difficult language to get through.
So superfluous. So
Yes.
just so
It's so
Yeah.
stark and so. Ugh.
I was like,
God,
I'm
I hated
waiting
it.
for
I
you
hated
to
it.
make a point.
We would make a good.
Oop,
We
not
would make a
yet.
good post-apocalyptic tribe, I think.
I think we'd be okay.
can't
Can we
cook.
enlist
I'm not good
the
with
rest
blood.
of book club behind the scenes?
What would
What's
everyone
that?
else
I feel
do?
like we
Yell
need
out
more
what your
help.
role would be.
Yeah.
Steven?
I'm the guy that got bitten but hides it.
You son of a bitch! You are that guy. You are that guy.
Immediately.
Steven, you're sweating.
Like,
What's
I'm
up?
not missing a beat.
Everything's fine. I'm really fine.
Steven, are you okay?
Everyone
Guys,
else.
I don't know about Steven. I think we have to take him out back and shoot him. I think he's
he's
gonna
old
fucking
yeller.
bite us. I don't think he's been
Would you be
doing
able
this
to
a
do
lot.
that? I might have to kick the dog.
I could
Oh,
kill
yeah,
Steven. I could definitely kill Steven.
Oh, if I got bitten, I'd be
Easy.
like, kill me right now.
Easy.
Just do it.
Yeah,
We're
same.
not going to find
Same.
the cure in the time it takes
We're not
for
near
me.
the CDC or whatever. Like, we don't have those connections.
What would
No.
everyone else be? This is fascinating. Go on.
Come on. Holly.
Who would you be? Would you be the scavenger? Would you be the hunter? Would you be I can cook? Would you be what would you be?
Oh,
I
I
can
can
make
cook.
clothes. What can you do?
Okay.
Was that Lee? I'd be the
Yeah.
cook?
Oh,
Intimidator.
yes,
Yes.
Nate?
Yes.
Okay, the Intimidator. Pretty good. Oh,
Yeah.
Great.
come on,
Perfect.
Holly.
Yes. We'll protect you, Holly.
Holly would be yeah, she'd be
just
the person
became
we'd all have to protect, right? In the land.
You
We
just
gotta
became the
make sure.
decoy. You're the bait.
But no, but the pregnant one always provides hope. We have to make sure, like
Until
we
it turns into a demon baby.
We gotta take Holly to
like
the
she
promised
got
land.
bit, like in Dawn of
I
the Dead,
heard-
and it's like.
I heard there's an island off the coast of
Sorry.
LA we can take Holly to where there's no zombies and
That's where we're
she's
going.
the future of humanity.
Zombies can swim, you
We gotta
idiot!
no, they can't.
Some of them can.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, I mean, I thought about this.
I'm the archivist.
That's true.
They can't.
I have all
they
the
can't
knowledge.
die, so they
I think
can
we
go
have
through
to
the water.
leave now.
Hey, anyway,
Do
by
they
the way,
need
your
help?
homework's to finish the book, so just do it.
Oh.
We've got an extra week in October.
Finish it. Sorry, that was a video game.
Fin-
I was really proud of that.
That was a video game?
Finish it. What video game?
I know, but it was a play on
That's
the
another.
book.
So next week we're also going to be discussing if you're in Mortal Kombat, what would be your finishing move? Mine is that I reach behind them and rip out their spinal cord and then drink their juices. Hey, anyway, next week we're going to be reading a different book in the spare week. So we'll announce that read next week. We're on
Mine
Goodreads
is
as
I
well.
would rip a genitals off. I'd rip a dick off. It'd be like
You'd touch dick.
finish him. Yeah,
That's
I'd rip
cool.
that off.
Touch. Then what
Yeah.
are you gonna? Now you got
I
a dick
would,
in your hand. Now what do
it'd
you
be
do?
like, Hector,
Did you think about
finish
this?
him. Yeah, it's
Yes.
not gross. It's
And you're like,
I would pop 2 balls and then pull the dick off. Yeah.
Mine is
What?
I got another one I made up on the spot.
Yeah.
Punch them in the shins. Their shin splints
Yeah.
bones come out. I use them as daggers and I slice their
Oh,
throat.
that's a good one. Rachel, what's your finishing move? Go. Mortal Kombat finishing move.
You kill them. With
I would just be like,
Kombat.
hey, bye, and I would leave.
you would emotionally destroy them.
No, I would just be like,
Hey,
it's
bye.
been
Rejection.
fun, see ya, and then I'd leave.
And then they would turn to the camera and be like, and then
Yeah.
be like, you lose.
Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you next week, guys. Bye. But once I pulled out their spinal cord, they like literally like blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
ground.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I can't.